What's up, peeps? So I want to talk about something here that I think is a huge problem that I haven't really seen a lot of people talk about, and I have really noticed over the last probably year and a half, 2 years, and it's getting more and more prevalent of a problem as this uh, as this Xbox um, integration happens. I I feel like it was Arc or something that started this. Now I transitioned fully from Xbox and PC into Xbox about 2 years ago. Um, Had an S and X randomly off and on, Craigslist deal or something, or Facebook deal or something, and just mess around and then go back. And the issue always has been this sell of the whole product here of like, oh, get Game Pass Xbox app on your PC, your phone, or tablet, and da 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 da. And it's never it's never supported like most of your library. Um, and that's always been kind of an issue with this, and even the way you look at this kind of stuff, like it there's a lot of false advertisement, so to speak. I guess look left, look right, but you're actually going left and actually going right type deal, because it's so convoluted with Play Anywhere titles, Game Pass titles, parity between what you own, older Xbox titles, the cloud, and the PC app on Xbox and on your phone or other device. There's no parity. And I get with the new handhelds and other devices now, they're kind of shining some more light on this. And I don't know why this has never been talked about in depth. Excuse me, I'm out of breath. I need a phlebotomy. I haven't had one in months, and my blood is extremely thick right now, so I'm choking to death in my lungs and my heart. And then this whole Game Pass thing, I'm not going to get a diatribe of this. I have before. I think the value of Game Pass Ultimate is amazing. If you just woke up and you were a gamer tomorrow, nothing competes with it, with what it offers. But that's also why they offer different tiers, because maybe it's not for you. Maybe you use it for different reasons, and I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. People are eating really, really good at the price it was, because they're giving it away, and now they're mad. So... But this brings up a problem, because they do add things like Fortnite, the crew membership into it, which I think is a great benefit for people that don't want to pay for it every month, and you kind of get, other games and stuff too. So this really hasn't been talked about, and you're starting to see it now that they've, essentially misled everybody with this is an Xbox. Which was really bold of them to do, and this whole system not be working. And I guess reviewers, and even I gotta call Digital Foundry out here, kind of a letdown that nobody, I know they have to know, nobody brought this up, and I guess no one's really looking at all this in the ecosystem in the grand scheme of things. There isn't parity, and I get being in tech reviews and content creators nowadays, you really can't say anything bad. Ever. You just can't be negative, unless it's something that, like overwhelming the community, and you're like, yeah, and then you kind of can't play dumb. But the problem with this stuff is, and it's a bunch, is there isn't parity between this app, your Xbox library, your Xbox, and other devices, because some games will run, some games won't. Some games you have access to, some games you don't. And now they're like kind of in the back end, filling the hole in the void of like, oh, well, because like all Game Pass games. Well, wait a minute. Why did that change from, also this is atrocious, I don't know why it resets itself, owned games. You're like, wait a minute. Owned Xbox games. Okay. Well, my Xbox library is massive. Is since Xbox was Xbox. Like, I have tons of games. I was given game keys as a content creator, as a streamer, for doing it for a living. So I don't even have those games fully here, and then we can go to owned only. They're adding more games in the back end because in reality, none of this existed a couple weeks ago, and it's still not your full library. They're trying to, I guess, whoever they're buying, and then by partnering with Ubisoft and partnering with EA, you're technically getting access to some of your games. And I'm gonna bet that if those deals don't happen, you won't have access. But as you can see right here, I can play with Cloud. I own Dying Light 2 on Xbox and on Steam. But this is a good example of this. Play with Cloud with your subscription. Okay, so if I don't have Game Pass, whatever that includes Cloud, do I not have access to my Xbox games, even though they're digital, without a subscription service if I'm on PC? Because if I go to the store, obviously I cannot play that through the Xbox app that I own the version of Xbox without playing it in the cloud. And the cloud is very much not a good version, and yes, it's access to it, and yes, this is a third-party title. So I think people need to be more clear about that and what they offer in, play all your games anywhere. Yeah, with the cloud. And even then, it's off a lower powered S, and you're dealing with, internet bitrate issues and all that. But then you have games like Fable Anniversary. Well, of course, it's an Xbox title, but I'm only playing that in the cloud. I have to have an Xbox hardware to play that game. And that includes the handheld, that includes your phone. Every other device this is an Xbox, quote unquote, is not an Xbox, because I cannot play my library of games on whatever device. And you'll see the cloud icon in a lot of these. Fallout has a Fallout PC version, and we're going to get into this. That's a problem too. That is through the Microsoft Xbox Store, that is separate than Steam and Epic. And that is a different, I don't even know why I have this. That's a different version. And where you'll see some games that are play anywhere, like Generation Zero was a play anywhere. Fantastic game. If you can get it on the sale right now, please get it. And tweet about it, whatever you got to do on social media, let them know you love the game. It is in a really good place at endgame now. It still competes with some of the AAA single player co-op, open world, whatever. It's a bunch of games in once. They really diced it up with microtransactions, and it sucks, but they did support the game for a really long time. Diatribe aside on the whole situation, but fantastic game, fantastic little studio. They kind of got cut up now, but great game. So that's a play anywhere title that you can play on the Xbox app. Now the problem was, this was one of very few that were able to do this with for the last couple of years. More titles are moving to the Play Anywhere, but very, very few are actually compatible on the desktop PC app. And you can kind of just take mobile, handhelds, and desktop at the same, even though the mobile actually has more constrictions, and we can talk about this another time. And then mobile PC handhelds versus Android and iPhone. That's a separate issue, and that's a whole other problem that I would have to make another video for. But what I'm trying to get to here is, this is so convoluted in what they're trying to sell, and they're trying to kind of quietly in the background halfway fix the issue, I guess. But they're half-assing it. And I love Xbox. I love what they're doing. I love that they've pretty much changed the gaming space, and they're trying to bring gaming to everybody. And I want to say that first. I love that. But I think this is just wrong, and it needs to be talked about. You have this weird, where you have the older games where, they remade it. So you have two different versions, and now there's a Game Pass game version, and then there's a version that I own, and I don't really understand that. So I can play GTA in the cloud, but I can't play in the store, and I own that game on every platform. Things like that, things like the Halo 5 Guardians, which is very weird that I don't have a PC Xbox or a PC app version of that game. I have to play it in the cloud. And where Grounded was the insider flight for that, but where you can, and it's like, well, this is confusing. If you look at the Master Chief bundle, no store version, but there's a cloud version. Hunt I own, but there is a Hunt PC app version that is a PC Xbox app version that I also own but don't own and have to download separate than this version that has all my stuff tied to it. And now this is the issue, is because like all the stuff you buy, right, and track as well as tied to your account. And this is just looking at the Xbox tab, right? The Metro is another one. I own Metro, but it won't when I do go to the store. Okay, it brings me. This product cannot be installed on PC. This version of the game is only available Xbox console. View this product Xbox.com to purchase and play. So I go and do that. Let me not dox myself here. Looking at cars, I can buy the game. But it's a different version. But it's through the Xbox store. I don't know, like, hopefully going forward it's better and it's cleaned up, but like this is ridiculous. No Man's Sky, same deal. No Man's Sky bundle, like, can't do anything with that. But then there's the Game Pass version that I can play on the Xbox app. But if I want to do the in-store, so if it goes away, and it's supposed to be a Play Anywhere title, but if it goes away, then like I won't have access to that game and I'll have to rebuy it even though I own it. So why would I want to do that? Why would I invest more in the platform if you're telling me most of the games I own I'm never going to be able to play on other devices anyways, or I have to buy different versions? And obviously even the triple or the third party ones that were supposed to be available are not. But I can play it on console, but I can't play it on my PC or any other device. And a lot of people are like, oh, they're changing that. Well, a lot of it they can. Third party they can. They would have to pay exorbitant amount of money for. And there's probably deals and stuff that says they can't. So that's an issue. That's one of the main issues. And I could get more into that, but that's a problem. And then the whole oh, use the Xbox app for all your games. It all it does is just open the other, like, Where Winds Meet is on Steam. It just opens Steam. It just runs more. It just runs more stuff on your device, and that doesn't help anybody at all, because this app actually eats up a lot of the background. The Xbox bar, the new Copilot AI stuff, just eats resources. So it doesn't help anybody to do that. I get it's nice to see it all in one place, but you have to have a really nice machine essentially to not get dogged out. So that's a problem and kind of useless, and a lot of it's not updated. Like how many versions of that? Oh, because they're all Game Pass. But like if you look, I can install that version, and then there's a Windows Store version. It's a mess. And yeah, for hardcore gamers, maybe you figure it out and it's great, whatever. But for the price changes, what they're offering, what they're trying to do, it's not an Xbox, because I'm missing 90% of the titles and DLC that I own. On top of, okay, and we're just going to use Game Pass because it's easier to do this way. What I have found in many, 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 many versions of Xbox PC app games, okay, like Black Ops 7. There's a mech game, a dinosaur mech game. I can't remember. It was where I really started to notice it. There is the new Mech Breaker game. There's I don't there's the whole list. There's a whole list I can make. Outer Worlds is another one. There is a whole bunch of PC. Fortnite's another one. Actually, I just tried. Because that whole like I already have the crew pass, so and it was gonna make me download this version to swap it, and I was like, well, that's dumb. The version of there's multiple games, third party and first versions of games on the Xbox app for PC. I just call it the Game Pass PC version that are missing features from the Steam or standalone XYZ launcher version, or they do not perform the same as the Steam XYZ Activision EA version, whatever. And that is crazy. I don't know why more people haven't caught this or talk about it. This game, multiple other Call of Duties run completely different than the Activision version and the Xbox version. This runs terrible, and that makes it so hard for the community to diagnose, and people help people, and even the devs, because you have so many different versions. And like I'm like, hey man, my PC I run a 5090 and 50X, and this game runs like crap. And other people are like, what are you talking about? I'm like, yeah, I don't, da 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 da. But then my other games run fine. It's because, and they're like, well, you're on PC. I'm like, yeah, well, PC now means 8 different fucking versions of the game, pardon my language. And this seems to always be the problem. Sometimes these run better than the Steam version, but rarely. Hunt Showdown's another one. Arc Raiders was another one that had some performance issues and I have found that in a lot of games, even first party games that seem to run better on Steam. Sometimes they run worse, like I said, but a lot of these games are not in parity. So that's another issue when they're trying to sell this all in one, like, hey, this is the place to buy games. I think the Mech Breaker or whatever game, it wasn't the same resolution. Like, you couldn't get the same resolution in audio you could the Steam game in the standalone version. Like, just crazy stuff. And I play a lot of games, and I'm not going to go through like everyone and test every one, but I've noticed that this is an issue as a whole, this whole combined messy issue. And then the account stuff, and I can get into this app where on PC you can't get the proper like settings and devices and audio devices, and there's it's missing a lot there. And then how the cloud gaming doesn't really work through the app. You kind of are better off going through a browser, and then the whole full screen thing, which we're working on. And then, like I said, running stuff in the background, how there's not parity with voice connecting and Discord. Like, there's a huge just hodgepodge of problems, and I wanted to kind of put this out there and let people know, and maybe bring to some people's attention. And also, if you have any feedback that you have, or any problems you've had, please let me know. Let me know, not in the comments. There's a little bit more to this, but I don't want to make this super long. And I think it's just nuts. I think it's nuts that nobody's touched on this. How, like, you know, you got to run a EA launcher to open a Steam game through Xbox, and then there's login issues with that. And then how, if all the apps aren't updated properly on Windows and launchers, you run into security issues. Like, it's just, it is a freaking mess, and it shouldn't be this hard. And I will tell you that at the end of the day, getting something like Boosteroid, cloud gaming, will solve like 99% of these problems. And if you want to be in an all-in-one, like, look at how they're doing things. That's probably how it should work. Xbox, do better. Thank you for what you have done, but yeah, like, this game doesn't run the same. There's performance issues. There's audio options missing, and I just don't know how this happened. Anyways, I'll see you on the next one.